Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Cooking with TK. So it's with my dear friend.
Let's finish this whole thing.
So we are about to go for breakfast. I'm gonna have my morning workout. Hello guys and welcome to my YouTube channel, Cooking with TK. Well, good morning. I can probably say good morning because I just woke up and it's literally 3 a.m. right now. So I usually wake up at 3 a.m. for, to study and stuff, and you can see I'm studying. But then while I was preparing to study, I thought that I should actually make this video because it's something that I've been wanting to speak about. It's something that I've been wanting to speak about, and I was just waiting on something because I had asked someone to assist me because it's something that they just went through recently. And when I thought of it, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's what we go through, as the youth every day, especially black youth, like black young people, school leavers. It's what we go through, and that is working in a toxic environment. I think most of us who've been there, we have worked in a toxic environment, and it's like there's this meme that goes around where people say, when you praying to get a job, don't just pray to get a job alone, but pray to also get, work in a nice environment, because working in a toxic environment can affect you. It can affect a lot of things about you. And I've been there, I've worked in a toxic environment to a point where I couldn't anymore, and I left with no plan, no job lined up, nothing. I just left because it was so toxic. I remember I used to even tell my boyfriend at the time, like, when I wake up every morning to go to work, I feel like I can just die, literally. That's how bad it was. And a toxic environment like at work can be created by a lot of things. Could be the bosses, could be the rules of the company, it could be the people of the company, your management, people that manage you, your supervisors and things like that. So with me it was bad, and it's like it was just a sign, because I've been wanting to leave, but then the more I stayed and just thought, okay, let me look for a job first, it's like it got worse. Like the rules got worse, and it was a call center, by the way. And most of the time when it comes to toxic environments, and no, don't tell me about, I don't want someone who's gonna tell me, oh no, call centers, they have pressure. Like, there's pressure when you get a job at a call center. You know that there's pressure. When you get a job in a sales environment or in a sales department, you know what's expected of you. You know that, okay, I need to meet 1, 2, and 3. So having pressure because of sales, or you not like making enough sales and things like that, it's not something that would make you leave, because you knew that from day one. But then, so I'm mentioning this because most of the time the culprits or these toxic companies or working environments are usually call center based. I don't know why, because I feel like maybe they're doing that because they feel like people that are in the call center, most of us in South Africa, we actually use call center as a stepping stone to something, like that's why when you go to a call center you find a lot of young people, because it's either someone is school leaving, or maybe someone just graduated, so they're just waiting for an internship or something. So then they just go to a call center, and call centers are constantly hiring. they're always hiring. It's one of the easiest jobs to get in South Africa, like a call center. Even now, if I was interested in a call center, I could just, by the end of today, I could have an interview lined up. So call centers are like that. And this call center that I used to work for, it was so toxic. At first, when I got there and I would tell like my colleagues that I found there and I would complain, they're just like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky, things are better now, and I'm like, how were they before? And they would tell me that before things were worse. It felt like they were in high school. When you're late, like there'd be like these consequences that I don't want to mention here because I don't want to reveal the company. I left the company. I'm okay. I'm just sharing like my experience, but I don't want to mention which company because I'm not about to name and shame. It's okay. When I left, there was nothing really like wrong. Well, it was a toxic working environment for me, but like we didn't have, there's some people from that company that I still speak to, and most of the people that I actually left there when I left the company, they've left as well because apparently things just went from bad to worse. Things just went from bad to worse. And these companies that are actually have toxic work environment, you'd find that they're also breaking a lot of rules when it comes to the labor law or labor acts or labor relations act. They're breaking a lot of laws. You work long hours, you work weekends that you're not paid for. They're paying you minimum wages. They're making it, if it's on a sales basis. If it's on a sales basis, they're making it very, very hard to reach your target. You basically work tirelessly for a company to make money while you are suffering. And you get minimum wage that if you get paid on the 25th, by the 27th, after you paid rent, and maybe sent money home and paid groceries, you now ready to make debts, because they pay you minimum wages. And on top of that, then maybe they're gonna say things like, oh, you can't leave at this certain time, like you're supposed to leave at 5, but then because you didn't meet your target that was set for the day, you're gonna leave at 6, not considering things like, there's transport. Some people don't drive, it's not safe. Some people have kids in daycare centers that they need to get. And just like all that stuff. And I saw when I was working there that when a company is like that, usually when those are when what makes the company toxic, when it's the rules like the ones that I've mentioned now, it's usually the bosses, like the owners, the CEOs of the companies that are making the environment that way. But as people, some people that have been there for long, they tend to change also and make the working environment toxic themselves. They tend to, especially people like that are in as what's this that are in manager, like if like supervisors and foreman in chief and things like that, they actually tend to also now take that mentality of the of the of the managers and the CEOs, etc. They take that mentality and it's like they work tirelessly to make sure that the working environment is as toxic. I'm actually mentioning this because there's this girl I'm friends with on Facebook. We're personal friends. And she was just I remember when I was going through her wall on Facebook, she would be talking about how work is this and this and this. Oh, firstly, before that girl, there's another one who like the notorious. Okay, this company I'm gonna name because it's like the notorious company, like everybody knows it. And I remember at one point in my life, I actually wanted to work for this company because I was like, oh my god, like it's so big, and like I was desperate for a job, so I was willing to take anything. So then this woman, she posted a picture of CCI. CCI is like one of the biggest call centers in South Africa. It deals with, well, I'm not really going to go into the background of the company that because that's irrelevant, but it's a call center, and they deal with like client base from overseas, and so like they work shifts because obviously of the time zones. So this woman, she posted and she was like, when God, what did she say? She said something like, the day I leave this place, I'm gonna thank God or my ancestors or something like that, And oh yeah, first thing in the morning is water. First thing that we drink is water. For the club. Anyways, so then she was like, the first thing, like when I leave this place, the first thing, I'm gonna thank my ancestors or God or something like that, And I was just like, oh, okay, is CCI that bad? Is this company like really, really that bad? And then like I saw on my friend's wall, my friend was busy, saying like she missed this and this and this because she was working. She applied for leave. They said no, and that's another thing that makes a work environment very toxic when it's actually coming from CEOs and coming from the founders of the company, where when you apply for leave for things that are important to you, it could either be someone burial leaves that by law you are entitled to, study leave, sick leave, someone close to you passed away, like your family member and things like that. But they just, for them, it's easy to say no because maybe you didn't make enough money for the month, or they just give you any stupid reason. There are leaves that you are entitled to as a person, because when you're there, you're not like a donkey just working for free. When you're there, you're working, yes, to get paid, but also you still have rights. And I feel like it would be so much better if we all just went through the Labour's Act and the Labor Relations Act, so that we know what is our rights when it comes to places of work. What is it that we can take? What is it that we can't take? What is it that we're doing wrong? Because sometimes even us, we conduct ourselves in a bad way, and also we should be aware when someone in a superior position is not doing what they're supposed to do. So I think we should all also go to through the Labor Relations Act. It would make things so much easier because I feel like sometimes even the superior people, they don't know the Labor Act. They don't know it. I remember there's this one manager one time who told me he wanted to see my medical records because I was off sick. So he wanted to see my medical records. I mean, that is confidential. The fact that my doctor wrote you a note and told you I can't come to work because I'm sick with, okay, doctor doesn't mention what you're sick with. Doctor said I'm sick. You don't have to know what I'm sick with. That is my personal. And they said that, and I looked at him like, really? And I just said okay, because I didn't want to argue. And then I was just waiting for him to say it again. Then all hell was going to break loose, because how do you ask for someone's medical records? How? Like, now you're going to know everything that I'm dealing with, But luckily, by the way, he didn't ask for it again. I think someone told him, or I don't know, or he forgot, he was just trying to scare me or something, or maybe he thought I was lying about being sick. That's another thing. We go to work sick because we take work more important than our health. We take work way more important than our health. We'd rather be coughing and be having fever at work. We'd rather be missing doctor's appointment for our treatments that we're on because we need to go to work, or else it's going to be an issue, or maybe they're going to think you're lying at work. I mean, as a person, there are things, as an employee, there are things that you're entitled to. And sick leave, yes, I know that sometimes it finishes, yes, I understand that. But then if, you're in a hospital, you had an operation, and they booked you off for a certain number of days that, exceeds your sick leaves, there's nothing that you can do. You can't go to work just because your sick leave has exceeded, while a professional doctor told you that you need to be at home. So, things like, it's just small things that make work very toxic. Anyways, back to CCI. And then I saw my friend, she was like, she missed the ceremony at her house because now CCI didn't want to let her go on leave and things like that. And I'm just like, how? Okay. And then I was just, so then I spoke to her. And then the following day, thank God, she posted like, you know what, I just left. I didn't wait for month end. I didn't wait for like I didn't serve notice. I didn't do anything. I don't have a plan. I don't have a backup plan. I just left because my mental health is very important. And I really, really related to that because I remember that's what I did. I remember when I left this company, I had because I was just like, okay, let me serve notice, because I don't want bad blood. Like I don't want any bad blood. So then I remember I was serving notice, but then I ended up even leaving earlier than the notice because I was saying that I'm literally losing my mind here. I cannot, like, waking up in the morning. I feel like when you wake up in the morning, you should be happy, even if it's not like right now the job that I'm doing. It's not like my dream job, but it's something. And even you, if you're still working, even there at a call center, you're still working while you're waiting for a dream job, but you should be happy when you go to work, like, yes, I'm awake, I'm going to work, I'm gonna smash this day, I'm gonna do 1, 2, and 3. You shouldn't just wake up and just be like, oh my God, when am I gonna come back? Like, that is not healthy. That is not a feeling that you should have. That is not something that's not something that should happen. Basically, at the end of the day, that's not something that should happen. So she left CCI, and then when she posted that, everyone was just like, oh my gosh, that company is toxic. That company, they don't, apparently, because I asked, like, I posted there, I was like, can someone who recently worked at CCI, oh, my alarm is going off, can someone who recently worked at CCI, obviously excluding my friend, okay, let me just get my alarm. Oh, okay, it went off. Anyways, I was like, can someone who just worked at CCI recently, because I was trying to get a hold of this girl that we used to be friends with, and I couldn't get a hold of her, and I wanted to take the video in that night. I was like, can someone who just recently worked at CCI tell me, I understand that you guys are saying it's toxic, and I fully get that, but then for me to speak about it on my channel, I did tell them I've got a channel, 1, 2, and 3. So I'm like, can someone who recently just worked there, can they speak, can you just explain to me what is it that they're doing? Is it the working hours? Is it the pay? Is it the treatment? Is it the company policy? Is it the rules? What is it that actually makes the company toxic? Well, nobody actually got back to me. So if there's anyone in the comment section, because oh yeah, and then I did say that everyone will be anonymous, but I think maybe they didn't believe me. It's possible that nobody believed me when I said they're gonna be anonymous. So, and I get that, I get that. So if there's anyone on the comment section below, on the comment section, who actually has worked for this company and knows exactly what goes on in that company, because I've never worked for them, but I felt like, I need to speak about this because apparently there's so many people suffering. And for school leavers, I know that some people, not everyone will go to a secondary education or get like in tertiary, so everyone is looking for a job. And I just felt like it's better to make this video and warn people that are looking for jobs that this company is not the way to go. Because like I was seeing on the comment section, people was like, oh my God, I was losing my mind, these people still owe me money from so and so, they don't want to pay me, I felt like I didn't have a life. And it was just like, it's not something that anyone should go through. I know that we get desperate for jobs, and I know that we need jobs, but you shouldn't choose a check or you shouldn't choose a pay over your mental health. Like, I always advocate for this. Mental health is the most important thing. It all starts with mental health. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing, and you wouldn't be able to do the things that you're doing if mentally you are not well, you're not fit, you're not okay. So that's why I'm actually making this video, because I was just like, there's that meme that goes around that when you pray for a job, please pray for a good, healthy working environment as well. It is actually true. There's so many of us who've been there, who've taken jobs and had to leave work with no plans, with no backup, with no savings, with nothing, because we actually chose our mental health. And even now, if you are working for a company and it's like, it kind of, I don't know if I'd say it just creeps in on you, where you just feel like, okay, now I don't, it's not like it's an instant thing. That is what I know. It's not like it's an instant thing where you just like, oh, yesterday you were okay, then today you just wake up and you're like, oh, I don't want to work anymore. It builds, it creeps in, and it builds like gradually. Like, you start day one, you start saying, no man, I'm not happy. And then the following day, and then before you know it, like, you're in this zone where being at work, you're depressed all the time. Being at work, you'd rather be doing other things than working, and actually that affects your performance. And the people that are toxic in the work environment, they don't even know why they don't even, it's like they don't even understand that you are not performing at work because of the environment that you're in. So yes, this is just like a morning. This is just like morning talk or chit chat. So if you have a story about a toxic work environment that you've experienced, or you currently have, or you currently are going through, you can actually just comment on the comment section below. And I still love you guys so much. And like I said, you cannot choose a salary, or you cannot choose wages, or you cannot choose a paycheck over your mental health. Your mental health is the most important thing. And then yeah, that'll be all. Let me just go back to studying now. Bye guys.